Most players have definitely already missed these rare weapons and armor sets in Oblivion Remastered, like the Emperor's Robes, or this shield that has 100% magic resistance. But obviously most players miss the chance to get it. In fact, there's a few unique weapons like this that I'll be showing you how to get in this video guide. And to grab the first few for yourself, you're going to need to start the arena questline in the Imperial City, just here on the map. Now you can join up by entering the Bloodworks in the basement and speaking to the Blade Master Owen. He's then going to give you a heavy or light raiment to battle in. Then just continue fighting through the ranks of yellow team fighters until you reach the rank of Myrmidon. At this point, Owen's then going to warn you about this wood elf who uses an enchanted blade called ShimmerStrike. And this is actually the first unique weapon we can unlock. Now normally you can't loot enemies in the arena, even if they drop their weapon. But there are a few ways we can break this rule. So to get ShimmerStrike for yourself, you're going to need to have the Staff of Corruption. And I have a guide on how to get that linked below in the description. And that same guide also shows you how to duplicate your own character. So it's definitely worth checking out anyway. But then we can enter the arena fight with the Staff of Corruption, and then we're going to use it on the enemy to duplicate him. Then we're just going to make a quick save. And now if we reload our quick save, that's going to reset the clone's inventory. And this next part is a lot easier if you paralyze both of the enemies, because we're going to want to kill the clone and then carry on spamming the loot button when we do it. Because when the clone dies, ShimmerStrike will actually spawn just above his body for less than a second. And if you're spamming the loot button above the body, you'll be able to pick it up as long as you place your cursor in the right angle. It can take a few tries because it only spawns for a couple of frames. If I freeze it here, you can see it just there above its body. And after those couple of frames, it disappears. So you literally have to grab it in that moment. This actually means that if you limit your FPS on PC or you run the game in enhanced graphics mode on consoles, you'll have a lower FPS, which means this sword will be easier to loot by doing this strategy. Then if you just check your inventory, you'll now have ShimmerStrike, a unique silver dagger that deals 5 points of frost damage and creates light on the target for 5 seconds for 100 feet around them. It's the worst item in this list, but it is very rare, so it's a cool collectible. Next though, this is how you get the Aegis Shield, which has a 100% magic resistance. And once again, we're going to be doing this in the arena in the Imperial City. And if we carry on fighting through the ranks of the arena until we reach the hero rank, before the next battle, you're going to be warned about a high elf with a magical shield that has 100% resistance to magic. And the shield's typically unobtainable due to it being used by a yellow team combatant, which can't be looted. However, if we go into the battle ourselves and turn down the difficulty, or just block, or even if your character's powerful enough, you can just go completely AFK while the enemy is attacking you, well, eventually they're going to break their sword. Sadly, you can't use magic to disintegrate their weapon because obviously they have the shield, so they're immune to magic. So you literally have to wait for them to wail on you until they break their weapon. Now you'll know when their weapon's broken because they'll stop attacking you and they'll just start walking around shouting insults at you.
This match is mine, weakling!
And now we need to force the target to unequip their shield. So we're going to save the game again first, then we're going to turn up the difficulty so you don't accidentally kill them. And now to do this, you'll need to have at least level 50 hand-to-hand skill. Then your power attacks are actually going to have a chance to disarm the enemy. So start power attacking the enemy until he drops his sword. And it only took me like 5 tries. He dropped his sword on the ground and he's not even going to pick it up because if you look at the sword, it only has 0 health. It counts as broken and he can't even re-equip it. And because he doesn't have a sword equipped, that means his shield is now unequipped too. So next we're going to save the game again and turn down the difficulty so he can easily kill the opponent now. After he's dead, we're then going to use the Staff of Worms, which you get for completing the Mage Guild. Or you can use Sheogorath's resurrection power if you finish the Shivering Isles DLC. But I'm going to use the Staff of Worms on his body to resurrect him. Then we're going to be using the Staff of Corruption to clone the body of this NPC. And it can take a few casts to work. And obviously if you need this staff, there's a guide on how to get it linked below in the description. Next we're going to kill the clone. But as soon as you kill it, make a new save. You literally hear him die there as I make contact and pause to save the game. Now we're going to open the options and go back to the main menu. And then we're going to reload that save we just made where you can see his body where I just killed him in that strike. And as you're loading into that save, just keep spamming the loot button, and sometimes you have to look down because the body's kind of falling. And then once you loot that body, you'll now be able to get the 100% magic resistant shield, the unique Grey Aegis for yourself. And this method can also be used to get multiple light or heavy arena raiments as well. Now, once you equip the Shield of Aegis, it's going to give you 100% magic resistance. You can even double check in your spell effects, and you can see right there that we have the resistance. But the shield itself doesn't appear visually. So the game believes you only have a sword equipped instead of a shield. I actually do prefer that look personally, because the unique weapon just has the appearance of a steel shield anyway. But now, here's a bonus tip in exchange for some skooma and a like on the video. You can actually also duplicate the Grand Champion's unique armor set, Agronach's Raiment, using this exact same method. You're just going to use the Staff of Worms to resurrect him, then use the Skull of Corruption on him to duplicate him, and then as you kill him, just save the game just afterwards. Exit back to the main menu, load back, and just spam the loot button while looking down as his body falls to the ground so you can loot it before it disappears. And then you'll be able to loot 2 copies of the Heavy Armor Grand Raiment. It's also a weightless quest item too. However, it can stop you from finishing the arena quest line, so make sure you make a save before doing that. It will otherwise be in your inventory forever. Now, sometimes you can also find the new Oblivion meme merch on his body, but for the rest of you, it will be linked in the description below. But next, most players miss the chance to get the wearable version of the Emperor's robes in Oblivion Remastered. But to do this, it is pretty damn difficult because you're going to require a bunch of items. You'll need the Staff of Corruption from Vamina's Daedric questline, and the Staff of Worms from completing the whole Mage Guild questline. And there are guides on how to get both of those linked below. Then you'll also need to have the Amulet of Kings still, just in your inventory. So obviously, if you've given it to Joffrey already, you won't be able to get the Emperor's robes on this particular playthrough. If you do still have it though, you can just re-enter back into the sewers and retrace your steps back to the Imperial City prison, where you'll find the Emperor is still lying dead there. And to be honest, he's starting to smell a bit. But now, don't worry, my Blade Master friend, because I am going to make your day. We're going to resurrect the Emperor with the Staff of Worms and bring him back to life, like none of this assassination attempt ever happened. And now he's back with the living. We're going to swap to the Staff of Corruption and cast that on him, which is going to duplicate the Emperor, making a clone of him. Sometimes it takes a couple of casts to work, but it always does. So once the Emperor's clone, we're then going to save the game, turn down the difficulty, and then we can easily kill him. But on the killing blow, we're going to pause and create a new quick save. But as soon as you kill it, make a new save. You literally hear him die there as I make contact and pause to save the game. Now we're going to open the options and go back to the main menu. And then we're going to reload that save we just made where you can see his body where I just killed him in that strike. And as you're loading into that save, just keep spamming the loot button, and sometimes you have to look down because the body's kind of falling. And that's where you're going to get the Emperor's robes and the Emperor's shoes from his inventory. And then look Barris directly in the eyes and say, I am the captain now. Now, the robes only have a weight of 4. They also look great in third person, but I will warn you, in first person, this is your view. It's visually very buggy and it doesn't look like it should. But that's because Bethesda never intended us to get any of the items in this video. In fact, there's even more unique weapons and armor sets that were unobtainable in the first game due to many of the bugs, but you can actually now get them in Oblivion Remastered if you watch this next video guide, which is also linked below.